All right, well, our beloved Dave, who knows all about love, because he is love, so he's gonna get us all talking about it. Oops, that's what happened. He's gonna get us talking about love. He has been part of Circles of Love for most of his life, and at one time led his own unity ministry. He has since become a fan of Adyashanti and Mukti, and he loves living the mystery of not knowing, and he enjoys this circle of love. Skiing, hiking, talking, listening, sports, gardening, frisbee, sustainability movements, and life with family and friends. Let's hear it for Dave.
Now he can get up on a stool with luck, you know.
Well, I figured since you brought the stool that you would want to sit on it.
I did bring it in here,
You
that's right.
did.
I brought it for Greg Braden.
And now you sit upon it.
Yeah, and Greg Braden says we're all divine. That's pretty damn loving, isn't it? Wow. Can I just sit here and gaze at you loving, lovely, beautiful friends? It's something. I remember when Mary Margaret used to talk a lot here, and she would say before her talk that she was preaching to the choir. And I feel the same way. I think that's what that means, that you guys, and I just had a session in the Wisdom Circle where everybody talked for an hour and a half, how long we had, about love. I learned so much, you know. I thought I came prepared, but I didn't have to. And I don't have to be prepared now. We could just sit here and gaze at each other. And I can really feel the love. It's there. Do that face again, would you? I dare you. See what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? Well, so today, or maybe I'll go back because I see my beautiful friend sitting in the back. Thank you, John. My buddy, we just spent a... Thank you, John. Now, what was I going to say about John? Other than the fact that we just had a beautiful week a few months ago in Mexico with John and Katie. It's so wonderful. I'm overwhelmed. I really am. I'm looking at my notes to see if there's anything worth talking about here. Oh, I know why I connected with John. Because a couple years ago, Jenny and I were trying to recall exactly when, but it doesn't make any difference. The Unity of Lee Summit, the head of Unity Churches, said, you guys are violating something. You can't use the word unity anymore. And, you know, that created a big stir within the congregation here. And what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Do we fight unity? Do we drop unity? What should we do? And of course, we got together with a whole big group meeting in here. Probably had food before and all this stuff. And, you know, a lot of energy going on. So what was concluded is that we would let unity go. Pretty simple, huh? Didn't have to hire an attorney, you know. And maybe something like Community of Love would serve us. And I'll be darned, here we are. Jenny has led us through out of that conundrum, and here we are, a community of love. And from the get-go, what I thought was, well, what does that mean? You know, and what I've come to realize that each one of you individually know what that means. If I were to go around and say, who doesn't know what love means? Pretty quiet, isn't it? So, you know, we all have a concept or a belief or a knowing, which I like to call it. I think those are the three areas for me that brings love into our being. And so that to me was an important transition that we made. So my dear friend and love, Miss Judy sitting over here. Yeah, thank you, dear. Look what she's wearing. Be love. We can't help but be love. But so she gave me this book. And I don't remember whether you read it or I read it. There's a chapter in here on love, right? Do you remember? Whether I read it or you, it doesn't make any difference, does it? No? Yeah.
I read it, and then
okay.
sometime later you read it, and it's like you got it the second time.
It was incredible because she read it, and all the time I was thinking at one of my weddings, or my mother's wedding, I don't remember which, I had this thought about what he really said about love. I had a book and I read it at the wedding, and it was, you know, powerful, but she's not reading that. Is this the right book? I mean, I was arguing what I was supposed to be listening to. Isn't that crazy what we do? How loving can you get? So today, actually, I went out yesterday and found a bigger book, and I gave it to Mr. Zach. And not right now, but shortly he's going to read from that book. I just want to because I went back into the book and read the first chapter. The second chapter is on love, not the first chapter in this book. So why isn't the first chapter on love? You think that would be the most important. But because the first chapter sets it up. The prophet had been on this island for 12 years, and he was conscious of the fact that his ship was due to come back and take him off the island. So he'd been serving these people as a prophet, and they totally loved him. And so he left the village that morning, went outside of the gates and the walls and everything, and went up in the hills and looked out in the sea, and here comes his ship. So his ship that he's been waiting for all these years was coming in to take him home. And he's looking up there, and, you know, it's really exciting. So he runs back to the village totally excited. The people know his ship is coming. So they all leave their work and leave what they're doing and come to try to be with him and say, you know, prophet, don't leave us, don't leave us. We don't, you know. And they start going into grief about him leaving, of course. And he starts thinking, how can I compensate these people? You know, they're leaving their fields, they're leaving their work, they're leaving their families. That's not right. I don't want to do that. So we have this conflict going on. And then one of the women in the group, who is very close to him, you know, asked him if he would speak on love now so that they could all come together in love and not have this tearing them apart. And the beautiful thing of that is that myself and Miss Judy both lost our lovely, lovely incredibly beautiful partners. 2 years ago for Judy, 3 years ago for me. And so where does love go from there? Well, if you're really good, and I was able to be good because I went to see my twin granddaughters, and they just coached me right into grief. And man, did I hit it. I cried and I cried and I cried and I held them and they cried and we just had a ball. And that started my grieving process off. And so that's such a transition a lesson to open up. When you have a loss of any kind, it doesn't make any difference what it is. Allow yourself to grieve that loss, and you will discover the love that's in you. It's in every one of us. You can't get away from it. It's just so powerful. With that transition introduction, I want to switch to the book, and if I could invite Mr. Zach to read, and just one more thing as he reads at the end. The section on love is divided into 3 pieces. And I'm realizing now why and what that means. So we were looking at it last night, how do we do this? So he's going to read the first 1/3 section, and then I'm going to open it up to you folks, and I'm also going to make some comments about what we just heard. Now, oh, you got it. You're so far ahead.
Not to me. Keep it on, Dave. Keep it on, Dave.
Whatever.
Dave and I also want to apologize for the male pronouns in the text.
Yeah.
This was written 140 years ago or so. Okay, are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
Then said Almitra, "Speak to us of love." And he raised his head and looked upon the people, and there fell a stillness upon them. And with a great voice he said, "When love beckons to you, follow him, though his ways are hard and steep. When his wings enfold you, yield to him, though the sword hidden among his pinions may wound you. And when he speaks to you, believe in him, though his voice may shatter your dreams, as the north wind lays waste the garden. For even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. Even as he is for your growth, so is he for your pruning. Even as he ascends to your height and caresses your tenderest branches that quiver in the sun, so shall he descend to your roots and shake them in their clinging to the earth."
Thanks, Zach. So this piece that Zach just read, Judy had read to me, and I totally ignored it while my mind was going somewhere else. I hope you were more fortunate than me, but maybe not. You can always go back and reread it. The first thing that hit me in here is a great stillness took place as soon as he started reading. And that's so essential for us to be who we are. Be in that stillness. I love it. Sorry. We were practicing that last night too. Well, I have a neighbor I sit with most nights in the evening, sunsetting time. And the two of us are the same age, we have the same problems, dementia, time, and other things taking place. So we just sit on her bench and look out over the sky and the trees and listen to the birds. Another big word in here, other than stillness, is when love beckons to you, follow him. you know? Yeah. It's hard. It could be steep, he says. Yield, yield, yield. Believe. His voice may shatter your dreams. Yeah. Well, maybe you need a little shattering to let go of, you know, what you think is your way to love. It's kind of like that statement that I've heard before, which I always got confused by. You must die in order to really live. Die first. Die right now. You can do it, baby. And so, even as he ascends to your height, isn't that funny? That may have something to do with ego. So shall he descend to your roots and shake them. And they're clinging to earth. So that's kind of what I took out of it. I'm just underlining the key words that got me. If anyone would like to share about what they got from that reading, I would love. Yay!
I missed hearing the title and the author of the.
That's right.
The prophet.
The title of the book is The Prophet by Khalil Gibran.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah, Thomas?
we're still in the mode of discussing and so forth.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, you know, the book and some of what I read in the Gospel of Thomas brings out this broad theme all the way through our spirituality or being spiritual, or that first we seek, and then when we find, we can become disturbed. And whether that disturbance is grieving or grieving a loss or some illness or obstacle in our life, or the various things that arise in our relationships. But in the end, we also marvel and live in wonder of the love that's present in everything and everyone which we're a part of. Thank you.
Related to that, I just want to say, while love is everything and everywhere, it's not easy. Crown you and crucify you.
Anyone else would share? I would invite you. I'd love to hear from. Okay. How about you, hon? You just did. Thank you. All right. So the next 1/3 section.
Like sheaves of corn, he gathers you unto himself. He threshes you to make you naked. He sifts you to free you from your husks. He grinds you to whiteness. He kneads you until you are pliant. And then he assigns you to his sacred fire, that you may become sacred bread for God's sacred feast. All these things shall love do unto you, that you may know the secrets of your heart, and in that knowledge become a fragment of life's heart. But If in your fear you would seek only love's peace and love's pleasure, then it is better for you that you cover your nakedness and pass out of love's threshing floor into the seasonless world where you shall laugh, but not all of your laughter, and weep, but not all of your tears.
Surrender. People ask me a lot, what is surrender? How do I surrender? What do I surrender to? Blah, 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 blah. I think you just answered that question, to me anyway. And to be able to live totally where you are in the present, as Eckhart says, now. So I'd like to hear some more reaction or response.
Kind of like the idea of looking into the dark side of love, where you put through the meat grinder, of emotions, and it's like, if you have a partner, especially a long-time partner, and they see those things in you that are not love, and they point them out because you're unconscious of them. And it's really hard for you to believe what they're maybe telling you or showing you or something. But then that's when surrender comes in handy, because there's no way to really understand those parts of yourself just through conversation or words. They have to be sort of lived out of you or experienced out of you through others. And I think that's what the beginning, in a sense, of community is. It's just that you cannot really know love without other people.
It reminds me of when I was grieving in the depths of my grief for my husband.
Little louder, Zandy?
It reminds me of when I was in the depths of grieving for my husband. And I kept crying, and I really don't like crying. I was brought up in a house where crying was not really encouraged. And you're supposed to just, be strong. So someone during that phase said something to me that really helped, because I could hardly breathe from the pain. And they said, well, just know that the depth of the pain equals the depth of the love.
Mm-hmm.
Great advice. Oh my God. Michael?
I'd like to talk a little bit about surrender, since that's come up. I experienced surrender in 1995. I mean, no question in my mind, I didn't know what to do, so when I surrendered, I was given an answer, and it worked, just amazingly in the real world. But I was talking to Basil Braveheart, my Lakota mentor and friend, and talked about surrender, and he said, yeah, Mike, but that's mental surrender. There's also physical surrender. And I thought about that for a few years. And a lot of the indigenous ceremonies to me are about physical surrender, whether it's a sun dance, a vision quest, a sweat lodge. You surrender. But I hadn't. 1995 until a year ago, then I experienced physical surrender. And, okay. Do I need to do it again? No, not necessarily, but you just go into surrender and allowing, whatever you want to call it, the experience.
Yeah, you can't be with the love that you are. Isn't it amazing? Until you let go of all the other stories. Fascinating.
When I told Basil about that, I said surrender is the basis of the indigenous ceremonies. He said, no, that's not quite right. It's an aspect of it. It's about alignment with the divine. And I like that better.
Ooh, yeah, me too.
Because then, like, for me, pipe ceremony is my top form of prayer. That's not about surrender, that's about something else, it's aligned with the divine.
Mhm. Thanks, Mike. You ready to roll?
Let's roll. Love gives naught but itself, and takes naught but from itself. Love possesses not, nor would it be possessed, for love is sufficient unto love. When you love, you should not say, God is in my heart, but rather, I am in the heart of God. And think not you can direct the course of love, for love, if it finds you worthy, directs your course. Love has no other desire but to fulfill itself. But if you love and need have desires, let these be your desires, to melt and be like a running brook that sings its melody to the night. To know the pain of too much tenderness, to be wounded by your own understanding of love, and to bleed willingly and joyfully, to wake at dawn with a winged heart and give thanks for another day of loving, to rest at the noon hour and meditate upon love's ecstasy, to return home at eventide with gratitude, and then to sleep with a prayer for the beloved in your heart and a song of praise upon your lips.
Wow. Yeah, to be in that place. Such a joy, such peace, such happiness. Who would like to comment on that last chapter?
I'd like to talk a little bit about having the experience of love rather than like an intellectual understanding of love. Seems like what's the best way to do that, to have the experience of love rather than just an understanding of it? I don't know necessarily. Putting it out there for anyone to answer.
Yeah.
I kind of want to address that. Adyashanti talks about, and many people talk about, who am I? Journaling, writing, and addressing that. For me, I've been talking to my girlfriend in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, for an hour or two, and my phone bill was pretty high. And I said, now, what is love? What is love? And in a very short time, I kept working on that, and I had a theophany when an aspect of the divine appeared. So for me, the question is, what is love? What we're talking about. And I became ecstatic. I went to emptiness and the void, sunyata, non-existence. And for me, love is the divine. It's everything. God is love, love is God, and it's all divine. So what isn't love? We have to go to that, and that's how we live our life, is what isn't love.
Yeah, right. Anyone else?
I especially like the line, you should not say God is in my heart, but rather I am in the heart of God. That God, we don't own love. We can only participate.
Experience. I disagree with you a little bit there.
All right, Thomas.
I think we are love. You say we don't own love,
Hmm.
but I think we are loved. And God first loved us, that's why we love God. Sorry about that.
I don't hear a disagreement.
That must be love.
Ah.
What an experience.
Maybe it's the words, Zach, own
Would you pass those back?
We are loved, that's for sure.
Behind, to the rows behind you. Maybe you could share some of them. I probably got that many left. Oh, I didn't keep one for myself. How am I gonna read it?
Dave.
Thanks. Probably have one.
Dave, what I became aware of this morning is love is about choices. When I was, just a simple one that just happened, when I was driving here
Yeah, right.
and there was this ambulance and several police cars and a big mess and the road was closed, the first place I went to was irritation. And so I kind of swore under my breath and was trying to figure out an alternate route, which was long. And after I got turned around and on my way, I thought, wow, how about thinking about who's in that crash and how are they? And wouldn't you be better off spending your energy rather than in anger,
Yeah.
in compassion and sending love and light? And I don't think I'm the only one who does that. It's really easy when you're in this life of duality to react with anger, because it's more empowering, actually, in a way, more energizing, than it is to step back and go, put your mind and your heart with the other.
Matter of fact, I think, yeah, that, of course, what happened is exactly what should happen or did happen. The beautiful thing is that you processed after that. You like my friend says all the time, processing. But anyway, you know, you didn't stop there. I think the anger is almost like it's necessary. I mean, there's energy there, right? And unless you know the energy's there, unless you say the energy's there, unless you know, get into it with that energy, then you're really not allowing love to flow. You could be, you know, stuck in that place and stay angry all your life if you want to. You know, so, boom, boom.
Well, actually, Zach said something I thought was really wonderful last week. I wrote
He
it
did.
down on a little card. I have little Post-it cards all over my house. And he said, anger is just another way to demand, another attempt to demand love, or something like that.
Connect, to have someone hear you,
Sure.
prayer.
Yeah.
Well, I like you said it was another way to demand. It was just a demand for
To be
love.
heard, yeah.
Isn't that amazing? We're all gonna hear what we wanna hear and use it the way we're gonna use it.
As I recall, there's a quote, there's a thing in the Course of Miracles which says, all attack is a cry for help, which, you know, kind of sounds similar to pain there.
Yeah. Right, Casey, right. So I just brought these books with me because I try to read books, but I don't do very well. And I'm into your book, but I just, you know, it'll take a while. Yeah, I love it, though. Thanks so much for giving of yourself. What love that is, it will continue. Polishing the Mirror, beautiful book by Ram Dass, which addresses love, secrets of divine love. You know, didn't she speak here once or not? This is Mirabai Starr's promotion of this book. Helwa is her last name, first initials A. Oh, okay. Yeah, I had to buy it, isn't that crazy?
Are you learning the secrets?
I'm learning to read. Yeah, I'm learning the secrets. Walking each other home. Oh my God. Ram Dass, yeah. Yeah, walking each other home.
Who co-authored it with Ram Dass?
Oh,
Mirabai Bush.
Mirabai Bush. Yeah, they were very, very close. Yeah. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful paths in that direction. Okay, I'm gonna do something that, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Something personal but yet universal. I've known Dave from afar for about 3 years now, I think. And the first time I heard you speak, I think was 3.5, 4 months ago. And you spoke about Suzanne. Most of your talk was about Suzanne and her loss. And I know she was very prominent in this community and very beloved. And I was very moved by your capacity for your love for Suzanne. And and I remember one of our very first conversations, you brought me over to the memorial shelf up there, and you showed me Suzanne's picture.
Yeah.
And you invited me to bring a picture of my husband. And my husband's never come here, you know, I came sporadically over the past few years, but he had never been here. And I was so moved by the fact that you invited me to bring my husband's picture. And so one of the things that I've been navigating in our new relationship, if you measure by time, is what is this about? This, you're speaking of Suzanne, my speaking of Cal. It feels strange. And but then you showed me early on that there's space for all of it. There's space for them. They're just on the other side of the veil. And I don't need to delete my 50-year relationship. You don't need to delete your 27-year relationship. It can just all be in this space that is love. And so thank you for all that you're teaching me.
Thanks, Judy. We have a different kind of relationship. I've never had one like this before. Whatever we're moved to say, we say. And we're moved to say a lot to each other, which I call sharing, and sharing in love. It's really nice. I'm gonna do something here before I read this. That time now.
It is, you're kind of done.
John, would you say something, or you don't have to? I'm just.
First, it's nice to be back at Unity, and this
Welcome home.
This topic has prompted some thoughts, and I was thinking that love is very much a precipitating activity, precipitory activities, and while everyone has different impressions of what it might be from the outside in, we all have to practice it every day, and in any way that we can. And I think in doing that is when we get the kind of critical mass where we can start to prompt larger change.
Thank you, John. So this little piece of paper I passed out just says, you are the peace in silence. You are the silence in peace. You are the light of consciousness, revealing all, because consciousness is all. You are the perceiving love, devoid of objective identity. Woo. You are the wisdom and love that shines from the source of existence. You are unborn awareness self. Muji. Thanks, dear. Okay.